What if I told you one of the biggest YouTubers on the planet is exposing himself to serious legal liability? Ladies and gentlemen, call me Karen, because in today's episode, I'm gonna play a new game called What If I Was SteveWillDoIt's Lawyer? In today's video, I'm going to be going over a couple of instances that I noticed from SteveWillDoIt's previous videos that I think are seriously exposing him to some serious problems or future problems. And before all the keyboard warriors start typing, SteveWillDoIt is one of my favorite YouTubers. He is clearly a very generous guy, and I can see why a ton of people love him and why his channel is skyrocketing. I imagine he'll be one of the biggest YouTubers in the world in only a couple of months or years. Now, with that said, I'm about to critique Steve in some things he recently did because I'm a lawyer and that's just how we think. Unfortunately, it's just part of the job. I can't stop thinking about legal liabilities. So call me a buzzkill all you want. I just think that this is something that will be fun / entertaining / educational. You get the point. Disclaimer: I am not SteveWillDoIt's lawyer. I have never met SteveWillDoIt. I have never spoken to SteveWillDoIt, and this is not legal advice. This is purely hypothetical for the sake of this video. Let's jump into it. The first instance I'm going to cover is a situation in which Steve buys a car for a kid named George in the video titled Getting a Happy Ending Massage with 6ix9ine. So I'm going to play the clip first, and then we're going to discuss the potential legal liabilities.
Yo, look at this interior.
Yeah.
You like this?
Yeah, George. You need it, George. Yeah, George.
Yo, George, I want to give you this car.
Oh, you love, bro.
No, I want to give you this car.
Shut up.
Oh, hey. Nah, bro. I'm getting
A license?
No, but I can get it one.
How you gonna get one?
Hey.
Notice how George says he doesn't have a license. That's important. We'll use that later.
Hey!
Hey, Jesus.
You know you be driving.
Hey, hop in, Jake.
Bro, you got all the hoes now, dude. New sneakers, the whip.
Hey,
George.
hey, no more catching the bus to school. Hey, thank you, Steve. A barrel, bro. I'm only 16.
George didn't have a license, so he registered the car under his brother's name and made
That's an important fact as well. The car was registered under his brother's name.
George promise us he wouldn't drive the car until he got a driver's license.
You don't have a permit?
No, I'm gonna get it.
Turns out that promise didn't mean shit. The next morning, we get a call from Georgie's mother explaining how he took the car to a car meet, got busted by the police whipping donuts, led the police on a high-speed pursuit in his brand new car, and ended up spending the night in jail after surrendering. What the fuck, George? Next day.
So Steve buys George a car even though he doesn't have a license or a permit. George promises not to drive the car without a license or permit, but breaks that promise on the very first day that he has the car and gets into a police chase and has to spend the night in jail. Those are the most important facts, but let's see what happens the day after because it is semi-relevant. Then we'll get into the discussion.
All right, so I gave George a Camaro, right? And then, what was it, the next day?
The same night.
The same night? Stop playing, dude. It's not. You weren't supposed to drive it, right? Because you're supposed to get your license or shit. So what happened?
Well, me and Trey, we went to the movies with some girls and stuff. And after we was done with the movies, somebody had invited me to a car show. And, you know, I felt like I was in the Mustang, so why not?
And so you went to this car show, and you're like, fuck it, I have a Camaro. And then...
Yeah, so we go to the car show and stuff, and the police comes. And I get in the car, because I was standing outside the car. I get in the car, and I drives off. And, like, it was so many cars out there, and they just hopped right behind me. So, like, I just pushed it. And then I call my dad while I'm in the middle of the chase. And he like, pull over, and make sure you have your hands up. And I pulled over, police came to the car and stuff, and my mom and them came and got the car. and I went to the jack for like 6 hours.
You know, I'm very disappointed in you, Georgie. It's so funny. It's not funny.
I know it's not funny.
I'm saying I'm disappointed in him, and then my assistant.
No, I'm not laughing.
Cannot be professional for 1 second. I'm trying to discipline him.
No,
I'm trying
agree.
to tell him this is not cool.
It's not cool. So what did you learn, George?
I learned that I shouldn't be driving with no license, first of all.
Yeah, you can't be driving no license. Because you know, if you were 18, you would have got. It would have been a different story. Wow. So George. So I guess I got ended like George. I'm very disappointed in you. I do not appreciate it. Do not condone it. And here you go, Georgie. Gas money.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, now let's talk about this situation. And again, I say this with love, and I'm glad that nothing actually happened, but let's just say hypothetically, George was in an accident and somebody got injured. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the tort of negligent entrustment. Because SteveWillDoIt's in Florida, I pulled up some blogs about negligent entrustment in Florida. Because motor vehicles like guns in the wrong hands can be used inappropriately and are likely to cause great damage, Florida has developed 2 legal doctrines aimed at holding vehicle owners liable for the harm resulting from negligent operation of their vehicles by others. The doctrines are vicarious liability and negligent entrustment. Now, I'm going to be focusing primarily on negligent entrustment, which is defined as one who supplies a chattel for the use of another whom the supplier knows or has reason to know to be likely because of his youth, inexperience, or otherwise to use in a manner involving unreasonable risk of physical harm to himself or others whom the supplier should expect to share in or be endangered by its use is subject to liability for physical harm resulting to them. Significantly, the damages awardable under negligent entrustment are not limited by the arbitrary damage caps of Florida Statute 324-0219B3 applicable to vicarious liability claims. So what does this mean in application?
Yo, George, I want to give you this car.
You live, bro.
SteveWillDoIt supplied the car to George. He knew that George didn't have a license or a permit,
You don't have a permit?
No, I'm gonna get it.
yet he supplied him the car anyway.
I'll
license?
No, but I can get it one.
How you gonna get one?
And yes, while it was technically true that SteveWillDoIt supplied the car to George's brother instead of George,
George didn't have a license, so he registered the car under his brother's name and made George promise us he wouldn't drive the car until he got a driver's license.
the video shows that really the true intent was for George to have the car. So because Steve knew, or at the very least should have known, because of George's youth and inexperience in handling cars, that he should not supply him with a car, especially a fast car like a Camaro. So if George were to get into an accident and severely hurt somebody, if that victim came into my office, and me being a catastrophic personal injury lawyer, I would look at it and go, I could sue SteveWillDoIt. And why would I sue SteveWillDoIt? One, because I think I can win under negligent entrustment, and two, SteveWillDoIt is very, very successful. And again, I'm trying so hard not to be a Karen or a buzzkill. It's the inner lawyer in me, Steve, okay? Now, from watching previous videos, I know that SteveWillDoIt is an LLC, SteveWillDoIt LLC, so likely his business would be sued, but you get the point. I'm trying to prevent lawsuits altogether. That was instance 1. Now let's talk about the second instance I identified. The second instance comes from Steve's video, Danny Duncan Tried to Kill Me. Let's watch the video and discuss after.
Right in with it. You have to. I don't know.
So I think we're gonna have to mute this because of the copyrighted music, but SteveWillDoIt essentially said, Steiny, you have to get in the car with me while we perform this jump.
You have to. I don't know.
For anybody who doesn't know, Steiny is Steve's personal assistant, aka an employee.
It's pretty crazy. I'm scared shitless, but I'm not showing it. The sweat's unreal. Yeah. I like the sweat. I do like it.
Four-wheel driver now.
Bro, this is insane, Steve.
I can't.
Bullshit. I should not have to do this.
Are you scared?
I'm fucking scared. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we'll be
In the
good.
back. What if I hit my head?
Just stay tight.
So did you catch what Steiny just said? He said, "This is bullshit, Steve. I shouldn't have to do this."
Bullshit. I should not have to do this.
And in the earlier scene, we saw Steve making Steiny do this.
I like wiggling and shit. Hold on.
How crazy.
Yeah. It feels crazy. Everybody else was too big of a pussy to do it, so to do it.
No, he's like, Steve.
All these other guys were scared as
Steve, I can't. Why you make me do this?
I got Steve to do it.
And he was scared. He goes, Steve.
It's not true.
Let me try to quote it. Hold on. Let me try to quote it. Let me try to quote it. Ready? Steve. Why do I have to do this, man? I shouldn't have to do this, man. Cut to black and white of what he said if we have it.
Bro, this is insane, Steve. I should not have to do this.
And again, this is purely hypothetical, but let's just say that jump went bad and Steiny got hurt, seriously injured. What do you think Steiny is going to do? He's going to sue the out of SteveWillDoIt LLC. And again, not trying to be a buzzkill. I'm just letting you know, as somebody who deals with employee-related injuries all the time, that things do happen. And when they go sideways, the employer is going to be liable. And there are going to be certain circumstances which, how do I say, elevate potential claims. Meaning, if an employer willingly acknowledges the risk of a situation and still puts the employee at risk, well, a jury might not like that and might award a substantially higher award than an incident that might have just been a freak incident out of nowhere. There were some serious aggravating factors at play here. Now, I'm not naive. I know SteveWillDoIt needs to do cool shit for his YouTube channel. That is his business. That is his brand. What can he do to protect himself? Well, the first thing I would want to know is the structure of SteveWillDoIt LLC. Is Steiny an actual employee? Is he an independent contractor, or is he additionally talent? With that being a linear ranking of how much liability SteveWillDoIt LLC incurred by doing a stunt like that. The most if Steiny is an employee, middle if he's an independent contractor, the least if Steiny is actually a talent of his own. The second thing I would recommend is, regardless of Steiny's employment status, if anyone decides to not want to participate in a dangerous stunt, you cannot force them or peer pressure them into performing said stunt.
Yo, Steiny, ride in with it. You have to.
And I can already see the keyboard warriors now. I can already see them now. I know it's a buzzkill. It is what it is. So that's it for today's video. We're just gonna stop at those two instances. Again, don't take this as hate for SteveWillDoIt LLC. I think he's a badass motherfucker, and I really like his channel. He is a total badass. I just am being the lawyer because I'm a lawyer. Wow. All right, y'all, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make this a series. I have some other creators who I think I could make these types of videos for. As always, thank you so much for your support. My goal is always to make content worthy of your time. Consider subscribing to this channel if you want to be a part of this community. We just passed 429,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. As always, leave any questions, comments, concerns down below in the comments. All right, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.